trying to debate on whether I need to put the sling on. I had my sling on earlier when I went for a walk. I've had a morning walk this morning. Let's see. And so I had my sling on, went for a walk. I was explaining this yesterday in the live stream, kind of just alternating it. If I'm going to be up doing a lot of moving around, a lot of times I'll have it in the sling. If I'm just here at the table, I can get by with it just kind of resting on my leg or whatever, not try to do a lot with it. This is a morning stream with a little bit of thought put into it before I started. There were several things that I've had in front of me reading, and even some thoughts on my morning walk that I wanted to share a little bit. Trying to pull some thoughts together and put them in an orderly fashion so maybe some of you guys can sort of comprehend where I'm coming from or where I've been at here lately. Just doing some deep introspection. I think probably a good way to start this is I've read Jesus Always and Jesus Calling to myself. I didn't really digest the Jesus Always too well, and I'm still, it's not really up for me to tell you whether if it's just not feeling right, then sometimes it's just not necessary to necessarily be. But I am trying to read it each day and see what I see out of it or can get out of it. But one of the things that seems to be coming through for me, whether it be from Always, Jesus Calling, or whatever I've read this morning, even Living a Life of Awareness, it's talking about being in the moment. Like Jesus Always starts off with, "It is in the present moment that you find me ever near you." So today's, it spoke pretty well to me, but I'm still not going to read the entire thing to you. I don't see the need in it at the moment. What I'm wanting to do is just share a few thoughts and kind of see where I can go with this talk here without starting it over. Trying to see, is this going to be one take, or am I going to have to end this and do it again? I don't think so. So what I'm wanting to do is I am going to share from this, and you don't have to believe any of it. It's not anything I'm trying, but it's the fifth agreement. The Toltec understood that we're going to create a virtual reality with or without awareness. If it's with awareness, we're going to enjoy our creation, and whether we facilitate the transformation or resist it, our virtual reality is always transforming. If we practice the art of transformation, soon we're facilitating the transformation. And instead of using our magic against ourselves, we're using our magic for the expression of our happiness and our love. When we master love, intent, or faith, we master the dream of our life. And when all three masteries are accomplished, we reclaim our divinity and become one with God. This is the goal of the Toltec. Now, some of you guys, don't get your panties bent out in a wad or whatever. Some people take things too literal. But this is not saying that you're becoming God, but coming back to being one with what God is. So I just want to make that clear, so whoever's watching, if you're being out of shape because I'm reading from something that's not whatever, I can't help you. All I'm trying to do is share a few bits and pieces of things that help me. Sometimes it's from scripture, sometimes it's biblical, sometimes it's stuff like this, common sense stuff. Let's continue. The Toltec didn't have the technology that we have at the present time. They didn't know about the virtual reality of computers, but they knew how to master the virtual reality of the human mind. The mastery of the human mind requires complete control of the attention. The way we interpret and react to information we perceive from inside of us and outside of us. The Toltec understood that each one of us is just like God, but instead of creating, we recreate. Thus, for we are co-creators. We're not the creator. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Because some people may hear those words and only react to what they heard the words be, rather than taking in context what I was just reading. And I'm not trying to seem condescending to anybody. It's just I know that there are people that interpret things very much. A lot of times people are not even paying attention to what is really being said. They just hear certain words. And it's not really, it shouldn't be my job to try to make this apparent, like more simple for somebody, but I'm just kind of getting ahead of the game here. That whoever is watching, if you have an open mind and you have an explorative mind, then you'll probably understand these things. If you don't, and you're very closed-minded, you only see things one-dimensionally, and that is strictly from a certain religious aspect, then there's not much more that can be done other than at some point if you have your own awakening of some sort. We have to sometimes think outside the conventional path. Ramble, gray cloud. The mastery of the human mind requires complete control of the attention, the way we interpret and react to information we perceive from inside of us and outside of us. The Toltec understood that each one of us is just like God, but instead of creating, we recreate, like I said. I was thinking this earlier. When I'm not tapped into the divine, when I'm not tapped into the source, then I'm just imitating. I'm just going through a motion, and I'm just imitating what it is that I've been spoon-fed or force-fed. And I'm just imitating. I'm imitating what other people, a lot of times when I go, if I'm not everywhere I go, but a lot of times when I'm dealing with some people and the subject of God, the big kahuna, the spirit, sometimes I see that people are just regurgitating things that they've never actually put any of their own personal thought and time into some things. And that's not saying that that's a bad thing. Some people are just on autopilot. They were taught something, and that's just the way you're going to be. And if you're living a good life and it's working for you, I figure that's the way you do it. But sometimes there are people such as myself that early in my life, I mean, at 4 years old, I was asking big questions, and getting answers from adults that didn't make sense. So that set forth a path in front of me to become and grow and learn a little more about what is the true nature of reality, even if I don't know for sure what reality is, because none of us can really totally understand it, I don't think. If we can understand what the human mind is and what the human mind does, we can begin to separate reality from virtual reality. Our pure perception, which is truth, from symbology, which is art. We can begin to separate reality from virtual reality, or pure perception, which is truth, from symbology. Okay. Yeah, like breaking down the virtual reality in our mind and seeing through to the actual core of what it really is. I choose to try to do that, to break things down. If I don't understand it, I want to understand it. And sometimes it's not necessary to understand it. Sometimes it's just a feeling. Sometimes I've had to do that to realize, hey, Great Cloud, you don't have to understand this. But you see that it's real and you see that it's true. Like understanding it is a byproduct of, first we have to feel it, we have to understand it, and we have to, not understand it, but we have to feel it. And we have to feel that it is real and that it is true. And then we can proceed to try to understand it. The human mind is going to have a hard time understanding certain things in the first place. But it's nice sometimes when you're having a flow, like here lately for me, I'm doing a lot of introspection. I'm thinking about life. I'm thinking about, like I've even been, like I said, I've been questioning, okay, is Great Cloud Great Cloud? Did I make up things in my head? Am I a delusional person? I've already went through all that last week and kind of made a few videos on it. No, Great Cloud doesn't feel that he's delusional, You may watch this video and say, hey, he's totally delusional. But I can't help that. As long as I know that I'm still in check, and I'm still kind of got a little bit of conscious feeling here. I'm going to try to do the best I can to get back on track with what it is that's always guided me and what's being shown to me. Okay, let's finish this. Self-mastery is all about awareness, and it begins with self-awareness. First, to be aware of what is real, and then to be aware of what is virtual, which means what we believe about what is real. Okay, so virtual means what we believe about what is real. We have what we believe about what is real, and then we have what truly is real. So, with this awareness, we know that we can change what is virtual by changing what we believe. What is real, we cannot change, and it doesn't matter what we believe. And that is where the core is. What is truly real cannot be changed no matter what we believe. So you can believe all day long that 4 plus 4 equals 9 when it really doesn't. It's not going to change the reality that 4 plus 4 equals 8. Or 2 plus 2 equals 4 and not 5. You know what I mean? Like, you can look at a pear and call it an apple all day long, but it doesn't make it an apple. Maybe in your mind, maybe in your reality, you think it is, but is it? It's kind of like, it's the same questions when I come to questions about God and spirit. You have to also delve into that kind of stuff, Like, is what I believe in or what I know to be true for myself, is it based on a true experience, or is it based on words told to me and taught to me? Did I ever, like, I would ask the question, have you ever took the time to asking questions alone to yourself, and then maybe to ask questions to Spirit and God if you do believe in something of that sort? Especially when it comes to whatever, it's like sometimes we don't think we're getting answers, and sometimes answers are there and we just aren't seeing it, or we're just not paying attention in the moment. A lot of times I've seen and noticed answers have came to me a lot sooner than I thought they did. It's just it took me longer to figure out, oh, well, there's the answer. But I just wanted to leave with you guys with a good note. And, I'm not trying to offend anybody. I'm working these things out. The Spirit's just flowing, letting me kind of study, and I'm having, it's becoming fun again. It's becoming more like kind of a new experience doing these videos again. It's not like I have a set routine where, like, I know specifically I'm going to read from this particular book or not. Like July 25th, Jesus Calling, though, is pretty good also. And of course I read this last year, but I'm going to end it. I'll read this to you. If you made it this far in the video, I figure maybe somebody will appreciate it. As you listen to birds calling to one another, hear also my love call to you. I speak to you continually through sights, sounds, thoughts, impressions, scriptures. There is no limit to the variety of ways I can communicate with you. Your part is to be attentive to my messages in whatever form they come. When you set out to find me in a day, you discover that the world is vibrantly alive with my presence. You can find me not only in beauty and bird calls, but also in tragedy and faces filled with grief. I can take the deepest sorrow and weave it into a pattern for good. Search for me and my messages as you go through this day. You will seek me and find me when you seek me with when you seek me with your whole being. Oh, I'm sweating. Sorry. Okay. We've almost made it to the end of the video, and then I get this all screwed up here. But we're going to try to... I need these glasses because I want to... for your reference, if you want, you can look up John 10:27, Romans 8, verse 28, Jeremiah 29, verse 13. Like I said, I read this to myself this morning. I've read Living a Life of Awareness, or, I picked one out that's a pretty good one called Habits. I may share that as an individual, small, short, here in a little bit, because it's a pretty good meditation. I read, I've been doing my own studies, and I'm doing my own things again. I was always doing my own things, but this new burst of this new awakened energy, it's not so much it's new, it's some energy that's been there, but it was lying dormant. And like I said, I was sort of like slumbering around that part of the time I was conscious and I was really in tune, and then part of the time I wasn't, and there was like a fog. I feel like the past 5 days of fog has completely just disappeared from my head. And like I said, I'm smoking less, greenery. And it's just like, it's not been a focus of my day. Like I might take a few puffs in the morning, maybe in the middle of the day, a few, but it's like not been like it was, at one point, sometimes all through the day, I was just chief. So it's like kind of like other things are taking precedent over certain things. Like, and I think that's just a matter of getting in a routine again, sticking to it. And I think a while back I was asking for some kind of change, and I feel like that's what you're seeing happen with me in the past week or two. Is first we went through a few days of darkness, and I kind of dealt with things in the wrong way. I rose out of that. I'm rising out of it, and I'm seeing a new pattern being created, and not necessarily a new pattern, but some old patterns arising again and like being shown to me. Like, hey, you remember when you used to kind of go through your day like this? It worked better, didn't it? And isn't it working well now? So it's kind of like I'm learning a little more about being steady in the moment. And it's fun to be able to share that. So I'm going to end that here. This video is like almost 17 minutes long. But that's good. I didn't do like a really lengthy video yesterday. I did do a stream. I'm thinking about doing a stream here in a little bit. Just kind of like, it'd probably just whatever. At some point, the second channel is over 100 subscribers now, so soon I will be setting up a stream to do just on the second channel. I might do it to the second channel as the main channel and then shoot it over here. And then if anybody is watching the stream from this channel during the actual time, I might be able to try to see if they want to, they can go over and watch it from the second channel and subscribe if they haven't, like gain a few subscribers. And if I do that, it's going to be a stream mostly strictly about comic books. There will be some other talk there, but when I stream on the second channel, I'm going to try to keep it geared towards pop culture, things that are fun, and things that when I have other people on, we can talk about comics, movies, whatever. But until next time, it's Gray Cloud here, and it's up in the air about Sage of the Eternal Moment, but I'll end it with that until I know otherwise. Once I know definite, then we'll either drop the Sage or we'll keep it. It'll be up to the big kahuna. Y'all have a good day. Ditto.